Welcome again to the Haven for Soul Care, where we dive deep into transformative conversations designed to uplift your spirit, nurture your relationships, and empower your journey. Look, today I have a spicy conversation going on with the phenomenal Tameka Lynch Purcell. She is an entrepreneur, a wife, a mother, and author of the highly anticipated book, Forever Honeymoon. Together, we're exploring the keys to building lasting love, navigating submission, communication, and self-worth, and reigniting intimacy in your marriage. Let me say that again, reigniting intimacy in your marriage. Yeah, I'm talking to those of you who are in need of a little extra flame going on in the bedroom. Whether you're single, newly married, or a seasoned spouse, this conversation is packed with real-life wisdom and actionable tips you won't want to miss. So look, let's get ready and dive straight into the conversation. Okay, thank you, Tameka, for joining us today. I'm going to go ahead and get you to introduce yourself to the audience, and we're going to jump right on into the conversation.
Of course. Thank you so much first for having me. My name is Tameka Lynch Purcell. I am a little bit of everything, but the main thing that I am focusing on right now is that I am a wife. Yes, I'm a mother. Yes, I'm an entrepreneur. I own several businesses. But the main thing, my main focus is that I'm a wife and how I've been able to maneuver through being all of those other things and a wife, and how I'm able to be a wife and be a good one at
Mm,
that.
that's good. That's good. I think because the conversations I have been having here lately, women are struggling on how do I handle multiple hats and keep my husband happy at home. That is a
It
thing.
is, listen, that's a great question that women are asking. And it's a truthful question. It is a very truthful question. And the way that I have been able to do that is through the word that women hate so much, or we get really defensive on. It's submission.
Mm-hmm.
It's submission. Being submissive is how I'm able to handle being a wife and all of the other things, entrepreneur businesses, being a mother, all of those things, being, God led, all of those things come from submission.
Mm.
And when I finally realized that that was what I needed to do and implemented that, then the support that I needed from my husband increased tenfold because men want to feel needed. Even if they know they don't need you, they want to feel needed. So I made it as such for my husband. That meant doing things that I didn't want to always do. But in those things that I didn't want to always do, I was led by God in those things. And I would, in my prayers, I'd be like, God, now you know how your daughter feels about this, but this is the man, this is my partner, this is who you sent to me. So I'm going to treat him with the utmost of amount of respect and as the head of my home. So if that means I take a back seat to wanting to provide him with what I feel like is going to be better than what he's saying, I was okay with doing that. And in doing that, it put it allowed my husband to see, okay, she's hearing me. And then saying to me, so babe, what do you think? And then I was able to put in my thoughts on how we should do it. And most of the time, your husband wants you to come up with a decision anyway. So you just make it sound like it's his decision and his choice, and you still get to do the same thing. So for anybody that's listening and want to know how I was able to manage that, it was based on one, God, of course, and two, submission. That word that we were like, wait a minute now, but that did it for me.
Mm-hmm. I think that's very, very good, and I love it because I'm single, but I have some people that are married that come to me, and so I have to really, really rely on God on how to navigate those that come
Hmm.
to me,
Hmm.
being a
Hmm.
single woman. And one of the things that He has, he's given to me over and over again is submission and the fact that men want to
They
a lot
do.
of times women um feel like they don't need to ask. They should be able to just do this on their own. And I'm like,
Mhm.
but it's causing problems within
Yes.
your marriage. And even when it's things that you don't necessarily like to do, like you said, pray about it and
Yeah.
ask God to
Yeah.
help you with
Yeah.
those things. Because if you have married correctly, I say correctly, or if you married someone that is aligned with God, then what they're asking you to do, it's really not that hard as you are
Mhm.
making it out to
Mhm.
be. There's
Mhm.
just other
Mhm.
areas within your life, but I don't want to get off on that. But I
Oh,
thought that
that's
was so
right.
good. I think
Thank
that is so good. And I'm glad that ladies, that you who those of you who are listening that are married, listen to what she said. Submission is the key. Um,
you.
yeah, that's good. I don't want to get on a tangent. I'm gonna go ahead and let you
Yeah.
go on, but I want but I want to ask you, so I know we're gonna get off into talking about your book,
Yes.
Forever Honeymoon, and but I wanted to know what got you to was it always easy for you to submit, and if not, what got you on the correct path?
Definitely not easy
Hmm.
to submit. Definitely not easy. And what led me was just I realized that, or I understand that God is not a God of chaos and confusion. So when there was a lot of chaos and confusion that was in my home, in my marriage, I knew that there was something that was off. And I'm not saying that my husband did not play a role in all of those, in all of the chaos and confusion that was going on, but Tameka had to focus on Tameka's part in that because I could only change me. I couldn't change him. I could only change me. So what I started to do was have very difficult conversations with my husband about things that he wanted to see different or he needed different in me, because we can be, as women, we can be very defensive. And that's because we're already doing a lot. Like I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I'm taking the kids here, I'm driving them here, I'm driving them there, I'm doing laundry, I'm doing all of these things. And here you come talking about, hey, it's time to go to bed. I'm tired, and you tapping me on the shoulder. Then you get mad when I be like, I'm tired. Those kind of things. But I realized that women are not as every woman is not on the same page as me. And there are some women out here who will do whatever
Hmm.
they need to do to, address your husband, address your spouse, whomever it is. And my thoughts were, Tameka, there's all this chaos and confusion going on in your house. You're making it easier for them to come in and tear down the foundation that you're trying to build. So I just did one thing. My husband said to me, like I said, having the difficult conversations, and he said, um, babe, men are visual. And I'm like, and he was like, when we are dating women, typically that man is dating that woman based off of what she looked like in the beginning. It was never, I want to know what's in her. I want to know what's in her mind. I want to know where her heart is. That's us.
Hmm.
That's us. I want to know if he can you hold a conversation? Can we talk about different, that's us. That's not men. Men are visual. And the thing that I found that is also in the book that a lot of women may not like, but truth is what truth is that what I found was I was providing a double standard to my husband where I'm working, I'm doing all these different things. So I'm telling him it's okay for me to gain 15 pounds. It's okay for me to gain 20 pounds or however many pounds I've gained. He should just love me where I am. And yes, that is true to an extent. However, when my husband said men are visual, at first I got offended and I was not happy. And, I was like, I'm about to tell him exactly what I think about his
Hmm.
statement.
Hmm.
But then a situation, I had to go to an appointment and I realized, well, I was about to be late for that appointment and the elevator wasn't working. So I had to take stairs and it was just two flights. So I was like, I'll just go upstairs. I'll make it on time. I get out of the elevator and I could barely breathe. I could bear, I'm huffing and puffing. I mean, like sweat beads. Like, I'm like, wait a minute. And my husband had told me when he said men are very visual, the one thing he said that stood out to me was he says, listen, I chose you. I chose you as my wife. I chose you to love you. And I want to love you at your best. And then when I came out that door, huffing and puffing, knowing I still got to go into my appointment, and I said, Tameka, you're not at your best, but you want him to love you at this point, and you're mad that he's telling you that I'm not at my best. So I implemented one thing. I started working on me. I started getting on the treadmill, not full fledged, right? I started getting on the treadmill. I started doing things. And then I started noticing, like, you don't typically see the change immediately,
Mm-hmm.
but my husband saw the change immediately. Next thing you know, he's tapping me on my butt. He was like, hey. And I'm like, wait a minute. This is stuff that had went away.
Uh-huh.
Now you're pulling me close. Somebody, you look good today. You're hugging me. You want to have conversation. Wait a minute. So this is all, that one thing changed the way my husband saw me.
Mm.
And then I just started doing other little things that he had mentioned before. And it got to a place where there was pillow talk again.
Mm.
And that one simple thing created so much change in my home, in my marriage, with the way my husband looked at me, with the more of the intimacy, touching, holding hands. These are the things, because this is the stuff that we want.
Mm-hmm.
We want that intimacy. And that came back with just a simple, I just got on the treadmill. I didn't lose a lot, but I lost maybe 5 or 10 pounds. My husband saw the difference.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what let me know, okay, Tameka, you need to go in full fledged.
Yes.
And if you want this if you want to see some differences. And I did. I took it straight on. I took it head on, and um, it changed tremendously. Now my husband he expects me when he comes in for work, I'm standing at the door. When he opens up that door, he immediately grins. This is There's that change. There's that strength. There's that foundation, whatever cracks that were in that foundation that are now starting to be filled. It only takes little things for you to be able to see the change. And when you do, it makes you want to do more and more and more. And guess what? It made my husband started doing things, doing more and more. Babe, I'll do. I got the laundry. Okay, baby. Like when I say address a change, and I already am an author, but my books were financial literacy because that is what I do. And I just said, women need to know this. Women that are married and women that are looking to be married. Because one thing my husband told me, I chose you because you were wife material before we got married. And a lot of women don't realize that men are looking for a wife before you're married. So you have to prepare yourself. And this book it was, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed every bit of it. It's conversational. I'm talking to you like, girl, listen, this is what worked. I just implemented those changes, and I can't even begin to, I get the butterflies when I see the lights. My assistant tells me all the time, not you sitting in front of the window waiting on your husband to come home, and is so,
Right.
and he's waiting on me. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's so much better than it's better than I could have ever thought it could be. And if I had known years ago that all I had to do was this one thing, I would have done it a long time ago, which is why I am speaking about it now, so that women who feel like this is over, it isn't. It's not, it can't be over. It's only over when it's good,
Yes.
because God says he's going to work all things together for your good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only over when it's good.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the ability to make it good. We just have to be willing to do it. If you still feel like you love your spouse, you love your husband, you love your wife, and you don't know what to do, it's this. Little things will start to see a change. And you might not see it right away, but you're not doing it for him, you're doing it for you. And when you're doing it for you, then he starts to see, or she will start to see those changes. And when I tell you that it works, I can only, you know what, I can only write it down for you to see what it is. Like I am an example of what those little changes
That is so
can
good.
do for your marriage.
Yeah, I think that is so. I mean, when I tell you this makes me want to jump up and just run around in a circle because when I tell you, I think this is really, really good because a lot of times, um, you know, speaking with women, it's like work on you, work on you. Stop trying to work on him, work on you, and you will begin to see a change
I
within your
think we
marriage.
might be.
Oh,
Hey, I'm not sure what happened.
I don't know. I don't know. But I would but yeah, so women, if women got to the place where they understood that working on themselves and stop and they need to stop trying to work on him, it would benefit them the more because you want to feel good about yourself. And when you don't
Listen,
feel
you
good
just said
about
the good
yourself,
word.
yeah.
Yes,
And it's
you
like, how
said a
you
good
want him to,
word.
yeah, if you want,
Come on and speak it. How you want him to be okay with you and you?
you
Because
not
we do it
okay.
all the time. Women do it all the time. We look at ourselves in the mirror and be like, now you know good and well. This you're not yourself. If you can't, for any woman that is listening to us right now, if you cannot look at yourself in the mirror and say, I look good, I look good, then why do you think your husband is going to look at you and say, babe, you look good? They're only going to tell you this because most men don't want to be arguing with you about that. They don't want to argue about that.
Mm-hmm.
But you can just rest assured that if you look at yourself and you don't feel good, they are looking at you like she's not you're not where you were before.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay. It should be okay for your husband to tell you you're not where I've seen us before. I know what you look like before. When
Mm-hmm.
you don't think that you're sexy, why do you expect your husband to think you're sexy? So when you work on you, when you become sexy to you, you build a different type of confidence and
Mm-hmm.
your husband sees it.
Mm-hmm.
They see the confidence. They see it all. Like every time when I go and I have to go and speak at something, my we just went and spoke in Georgia at Limitless Church with Real Talk Kim, and the dress that I had on, my husband, my assistant sent him the pictures, and it's already his screensaver. And I was like, babe, he was like, you look good. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, thank you, babe.
Yeah.
And if this is what women want, I challenge them to do something. Just walk. Just start walking. Your husband's gonna know he might not say anything, but that's okay. Start walking and stop feeling like we have to dress like Stepford wives. We don't have to do that. We
Mm-mm.
don't have to do that. It's okay to wear something that fits your curves.
Mm-hmm.
Your husband saw that in the beginning. Like he saw that when he met you. Don't take that away from him because when I tell you, men will always tell you that they're visual. Men are visual. They will see you in person and be like, man, she's bad.
Mm-hmm.
Then after they get past that point, then they want to know if you have conversation, if you can talk. That's we're the ones like I need to know where his mind is and all of that. But you can't expect your husband to think you're sexy if you don't even feel like you're sexy. I don't know how that, and that's what I meant by that double standard. It's a double standard.
Mm-hmm.
Like we got to get comfortable with ourselves. When
Yes.
we work on us, it is a benefit for us, and then it is an extra benefit for our spouse.
Yes, it is. I mean, that is good. That is good. I wanted to touch on something else you said too, because this has been a common thing too, where men are looking for women that are already wives. And so
Yeah,
when we talk about, because you are in you deal with financial literacy, I have a lot of women who are in middle age and they're saying that I want a man who is going to be able to take care of me. And I'm like, but you can't take care of yourself. So if you're not good at managing your own resources now, what benefit are you going to be to him? Because say you have a man that is one that believes in taking care of all of the bills, what are you going to do in times where it may come to a place where he can't take care of the bills? What are you going
hmm
to do?
hmm
You don't even
hmm
know how to handle, you can't multiply what he gives you because you're constantly spinning it out. Um,
hmm
and so if I want you to touch on that a bit because I think, this social media and all these songs nowadays have our women believing lies. And I'm like, you're not gonna, not a good man, you're not gonna get a good man. You'll get a man, but you're not gonna get a good man.
What I typically say about that is resentment sets in. Okay. Yes, you might have a man that says, I am going to take care of everything. You don't have to worry about it. But at some point, resentment is going to set in. And what I mean by that is that man is going to feel like he can, and not, I don't want to speak for every man, right? But that man is going to feel like he can tell you to do whatever it is that he wants you to do. He can have you do whatever it is that he's expecting you to do because he pays for everything. You cannot expect a man to bring everything to the table and all you're going to do is sit at it.
You
You just
preaching good.
cannot. You have to have something to. Why do women, and it's a good majority of women feel like the men is supposed to do it all. So the one thing that I always tell them is, you know what? We're not in the 50s and the 60s anymore.
Mm-mm.
We're in the millennial. And the world we live in, the economy we live in, the society we live in is not set for only one person to make all of the money.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It is a two income household. It is a two income household. And I see all of these. I'm not doing 50-50. Then you should do nothing at all.
Mm-hmm.
You should stay exactly where you are. Because if you don't want, to me, it's a lack of respect for the person that you want to bring in that is going to be your spouse. Because you should want not only your spouse to take care of you, but you to take care of your spouse. And I don't mean just in your bedroom, because that isn't it. I mean everything. Why are you putting all of the stress onto your husband to handle it all? One, I would never do that.
Mm-hmm.
My husband and I, our household is built on how can we manage our home together and we still be okay. It doesn't matter if I pay this or he pay that. We do not look at anything that way.
Mm-hmm.
And people can think, well, that he ain't a man. That's okay. He's mine. He's
That's
mine. And he treats me with the utmost respect. And the one thing that I can say that a lot of women can is that my man, my husband, loves me.
mm-hmm.
And I'm going to do whatever it is to keep a sound home. I would never put all of that pressure onto my husband that he has to do it all. I yes, I in our household our incomes are not as balanced. But what I will not do is make my husband feel like he's less of a man because I paid this bill this week and he paid that bill that week. I will never. He is the man. He is the man of the house. He is the king. He is the head of my home. And if he says, I don't care if I make all of the money. If he says, I don't think that's a good move for our home, we're going to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so babe, what are your suggestions? How do you think we should, let's try this. Okay, well then we'll try that. If it's something that I don't agree on, I'm gonna go to God about it. God, I don't know if his decision is the right decision, but I know that this relationship was led by God. So you're gonna put us where we need to go. Whatever your will is, you're gonna direct us in the path that we need to go. See, a lot of us are so in tune to trying to doing it ourselves instead of allowing God to lead in our marriages, in our lives. We feel like our decisions are the right decision. So I can't tell a woman, not to do what they're doing if they want a man that's going to take care of everything. For me, that's just not who I'm looking for. That's not what I'm looking for because I want to have equal say in how my home is being ran,
Mm-hmm.
equal say in the decisions that we are making. I want us to be equal. That's the reason why all of these women fought so hard for women to have equal rights. So they fought for us to have the right to be able to say, hey, I want to do this, or I think we should do it this way, or let's talk about what this looks like. I will never put that burden on my husband to take care of everything in our home. I would never do that. That to me, that is not a sound way to build solid relationships, to build solid marriages and solid mothers and fathers. I just don't agree with that. But there are some that will.
Hmm.
Agree with that. But you mentioned one thing, ma'am, you can't say that you want your husband to do it all when you are not in a position to do it all yourself. How does that work? There's no balance in that. We need to learn how to be financially savvy, financially stable before we hop into relationships. We
Hmm.
have to bring something to the table outside of just our beautiful smile. We
Right.
just have to.
Right. And I think that's good because a lot of times the argument that I have been hearing is that, well, I cook or I clean, and I'm not, but it takes really, honestly, it really takes more than that.
It does.
A good wife actually makes her house a home. Um,
Yes.
and the money, even if you are a stay-at-home mom or a wife, um, the extra, there should be enough sitting somewhere. It makes no sense that you're not multiplying what he's bringing in. And
Yes, right. That's
because
right.
hard times are going to come. And
They
so,
have come.
right. And what are you doing? And so I always I have women that will come to me and they don't realize how good they have it. I'm like, you really have a good husband. You are not appreciative. And I'm not bad. I'm not one who jumps on the bandwagon for men all the time because there are some men out here that we know are not
Are
so
not great. They're not in. Yeah, they should have never been husbands.
right.
But the thing is, they can still be a great husband.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It really does take the woman. And y'all, we a lot for those of you who are listening, we hold more power than what we
Hmm.
realize. We really do. We have
Hmm.
when we know our man and we know what moves him, we know what he loves, and we but versus doing those things that he loves, we want to complain and we want to fuss and we want to not be grateful for for the man that God has giving you because you prayed for him and here
Yeah,
he
you did. Yep.
and
Yep.
now you don't want to do what you need to do. You think you're supposed to do everything, and you wonder why. Um, and I have conversations with various men that are in my life, and one of the biggest complaints is that one of the things you said that the wife does not look the same anymore. They don't
Hmm.
do the same anymore. When
Hmm.
we
Hmm.
first got married or when we were dating, she did this and she did that. But now that you're married, you don't cook, you don't clean, you don't
Because women are feeling like we're not dating anymore. We don't date, we're married, but we have to realize that you still date. Marriage is just the piece of paper. Marriage is the piece of paper. Your commitment to your husband is you're still dating every week.
even.
You still should do the exact same thing that
Mhm,
you were doing when you're dating. We separate dating and marriage. They're still the same thing. They are the exact same thing. The only difference is you have something on paper. But if we really thought that that paper made a difference, then a lot of these people would not be having affairs and all of these things. So we have to realize that you're still dating your husband.
mhm,
You are dating. Every day is a date.
mhm,
Every day is a date. And it only takes little things because my husband was saying that to me too. He was like, babe, your hair isn't, he was like, I see you in, I didn't wear muumuus, but he was like, you got on leggings and you don't, these type of things. And those are things where I'm like, I'm doing so much. But the problem is I was excluding him out of the so much. Like if I'm tending to the kids and I'm doing all these things, he's still part of the responsibilities.
mhm,
And so then it got to the place where here's another one of those little things. Um, I started doing, I didn't beat my face, but I would do a little bit of foundation, lip gloss, maybe throw on a lash, and put on a wig if I had to, kind of thing, or brush my hair. And around the time that I knew my husband was coming home. So I would do those things. So then when he walked in the door, he would do a double take. He'd be like, babe. And I was like, hey, baby, how was your day? And he was like, you look nice. I didn't have
mhm,
to do a lot. They are not expecting a lot. And don't get me wrong, I was tired. I had already been doing everything else, but I still had a responsibility to the man that gave me his last name.
mhm.
And listen, I still had a responsibility for that. And I would take care of that. I would make sure that I looked like somebody. Now,
Mm-hmm.
and that meant he didn't expect me to look that way every day,
Mm-hmm.
but he didn't want to see me not looking that way every day.
Mm-hmm.
So I started I started, and then the easier things, go get your lashes done. So you ain't even got to do that. Then all you got to do is throw on some it's the small things that they want to see. You
Mm-hmm.
don't have, it doesn't have to be big. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to be big.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, if there are women that are listening to us today and they think that their marriage is at an end, but you still want your marriage, I challenge you. I challenge you to do more and be quiet. That's the only, be quiet. Just
Look,
don't say anything.
we need to get a shirt. Can we get a shirt? Women, learn
Just
to
says,
close
learn
your
to,
mouth. Oh my God.
yes,
You don't have
yes,
to
be
have something
quiet.
to say about every little thing. Oh my
Mm-hmm,
gosh, we will talk
hmm.
ourselves out of our marriages.
Yes, we will.
We'll talk our husbands right on out that door, and then wonder why. Well, the Bible says it is better to be on the rooftop than with a brawling wife.
Listen, no, because think about it. Nobody wants to. Do you know how much energy it takes just to be bickering and complaining? It takes so much energy just to do that. Sometimes you don't. Everything does not warrant a response. My husband has said things to me, even when we're in this amazing place now, where we are in our relationship. He'll say things to me where after, and then I check myself and be like, that's the enemy. And I refuse to give you any type of energy. I refuse to give that any type of energy. I leave out of the room.
Mm-hmm.
I will wait a little bit. Then I come back in and I act like he ain't said nothing he said. And I keep on talking until we move past that. And I've done that so much now that my husband will finally say, you know what, babe, my bad. I don't know what was, I don't know what was going on. And I'm like, it's okay, baby. I was like, we good. And he was like, we're good. And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything doesn't warrant a response, but
Oh,
we feel like we got to be the one that is going to say something. I promise you,
mm-hmm.
implement the things that I did to get me to this place where, one, my husband doesn't take his hands off of me. He wants to be, when I say pillow talk, I couldn't even remember the last time there was some pillow talk in my house.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's, I get out the bed to go to the bathroom. Where are you going, babe? Like I'm coming right back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm telling you, if this is what you want, I'm telling you, this is what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
It don't, I'm still who I am. I'm still me. I'm still feisty. I can still argue anybody, but I can argue them down if I want to.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm choosing to love my husband. I'm choosing to be supportive of my husband. And the more that I do that, the more that he supports me, the more that the love is starting to pour out of him to me. And this is what you're going to have to do, and me starting to take care of me.
Mm-hmm.
My husband is seeing that I'm taking care of me. And this is what you need. This is the start of changing. This is the start of salvaging and saving your relationship. Be okay with your husband telling you the things that were a concern, because those are the things that you want to address. You have to be willing to address his concerns. You have to be. And when you're able to get there, you're going to start to see so much difference in your marriage, so much change in you, so much change in who you are.
Yeah. Um, I want us to talk about communication. What I know you have some of that within the book. Tell us a
Mhm.
little bit about communication within a marriage.
We are women, because I can speak on us. Uh, we feel like we know it. We feel like we know it all. We don't need you to tell. We know, I know. Um, but when we get past that, and then the thing of stop being so sensitive in your relationship, right? When you take out some of that sensitivity to communication, um, things will change. And that is me going back and talking about when my husband was telling me that men are visual. And he was trying to tell me, babe, You don't look the way you looked when we first started dating and we started getting married. And the way I took that on was this: what if he didn't tell me that he had a concern about how I was looking? What if he decided to go out and find someone that looked like I used to look when we were dating?
Mm-hmm.
And I had to say, Tameka, what if he didn't tell you anything? He's telling you this because he loves you and he wants to be able to talk to you about those specific things. And what I had to do was to pretend like I had tape over my mouth so I couldn't comment with what he was telling me. And then I was taking mental notes of the concerns that he had. And I didn't talk about it. And this is the thing: I did not address it or talk about it the same day that he said it to me, because I was already mentally not prepared and a little concerned and upset about what he had told me. So it wasn't time for me to address it.
Mm-hmm.
I went in prayer about it. I took some days about it. And then I said, you know what, babe? I heard you. I'm I'm gonna work on me.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's good. Um, because a lot that sensitivity part, women, a lot of times what you're gonna hear from your husband, and you correct me to make if I'm wrong, a lot of times what you're gonna hear from your husband when you do have those hard conversations are things you already feel within yourself you need
You
to
better say it. I couldn't even it, you already know it, but you feel like, not how dare him tell me this. But that's, you want him to tell you this, because how can you knew that you needed to fix those things, but you felt like, well, he ain't saying nothing, so he good, I'm good. No, he's not good,
mm-hmm.
because if you're not good within those things, you should want to change those things. You
Mm-hmm.
should want to change those things. Now, don't get me wrong, there are going to be some marriages that, even no matter what you do, that might not work, but that does not mean that you don't work. That's the reason why I say you work on you, not him, you. When you work on you and you start feeling better about yourself, then you can take a step back and realize, you know what? Maybe God, maybe this wasn't it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this wasn't it, because I'm leaning on you and I'm believing that you're going to make this marriage exactly what it is that you want it to be. But I don't see that, because God's going to tell you when it's time to move. He's going to tell you, he's going to give you those signs. But if you work on you, then you're going to be the one that's going to start making the changes for yourself, making the changes within you. And I don't care, even if he isn't what you want him to be, he's going to notice
Mm-hmm.
when things are changing with you. He's going to absolutely notice when things are going to change with you. And another thing that I want to talk about is women who's in marriages where your husband may have been unfaithful.
Mm-hmm.
If you have chosen to stay in the relationship
Come on.
after you know about that man being unfaithful, it is not your place to remind him about what he did every single day. You made the decision to stay in that relationship. So focus on how you're going to work on changing yourself for the better, to see how that will implement changes within your husband. Because a lot of the times, or half of the time, I'll say, some men are unfaithful because they're not getting what they thought that they were going to get in their household. I'm not saying that that has anything to do with women and what women are doing, but sometimes that's the case,
Mm-hmm.
where, as we just talked about, that man is like, man, she's let herself go, and I don't, I'm trying to explain to her that this isn't what I'm looking for. And every time I want to be intimate, or I tap her on the shoulder, or I act like I want to, she's quick to brush me off. She's quick to be like, I'm not in the mood. She's quick to tell me that she doesn't want to do that. But then you're upset when that woman comes in, because, the Bible tells us, do not deprive your man
Mm-hmm.
of being with you unless y'all both are in agreement, that,
Mm-hmm.
for a long time, because you don't want to have temptation set in. So when that man is having a bad day and he goes to work, and there are those women out there that are looking for, because there are women out here who finds your situation and your relationship phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
They want exactly what you have. They want exactly what you have. So he's going into work and he's upset about, he can't talk. There's no communication. There's no talk about anything. There's nothing. He's getting nothing from you. There is somebody that's willing to give him what it is that you are unwilling to give.
And
So
you know,
women have
most,
to be careful.
yes, and most affairs happen first emotionally because you're
It
not
does.
talking to him. You're not being
Hmm.
one of the complaints I heard from um a fellow friend of mine that's male. He said that his wife is no longer his friend.
Listen, listen. When my husband told me that I was his best friend, I felt that. And that let me know, yeah, you want to talk to me about everything, and I want to talk to you about everything. That's where those are the relationships that you want because that man knows your flaws and he still loves you. He knows where your shortcomings and he still loves you.
Hmm.
Those are great relationships.
Hmm.
You can build those relationships to be, you can build those okay relationships to be great relationships. When both of you are, if your husband is willing, if he's still talking to you, he's still trying to interact with you, he's still trying to hold conversations with you, then your marriage is never over. You need to open up and start becoming more open and vulnerable, and open lines of communication to be able to talk to him about what's on his mind. And the one thing you need to sit down and be like, you know what, babe, I am sorry. I have not been me in the last few years. And I appreciate you for sticking with me when I wasn't me, but I'm ready to be me again so that you and I can get to a place that we were before. That man is probably everything, all kinds of doing cartwheels and jumping around in the inside of him right now.
When I tell you, thank you, Jesus. When I tell you that I literally said this to a woman, I said, sometimes we have to apologize. And there's nothing wrong with apologizing. I said,
Nothing
do
at
you
all.
not know how that will break so many chains? How the person that has been, been with you through thick and thin, when you can go and say, hey, it has been me. I apologize.
Yes,
I said,
yes.
oh no, the wall that was built up, that thing gonna come
Coming down.
down.
Exactly, exactly,
Oh,
exactly.
because that's
I'm
what.
going, I'm going, I see it, babe. I thank you. You know what? I'm going to do better. And I want us to be able to talk about it, and if you see something that I'm, doing something that is not a back, just taking me backward, just tell me. Cause I want to get better and be better and do better
Yes, yeah.
for sure.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So I want to ask you, what's one piece of advice you would give to couples who feel stuck or unsure about their future relationship? And you already touched on it. But I'm gonna ask you again, something that you might want to just have as a takeaway for the audience.
So for married couples, and a lot of people, I talk about it and everybody gets shameful. But if you want to break some chains in your marriage and see a difference, I need you to go in your bedroom and shut the door and don't come out until y'all can't do nothing but stand and be like, you want some water? Yeah, you want me to go get you some water? Because that is the intimacy is where you're lacking.
Let me
You want to see a difference listen, a quick difference. Go in there in your bedroom and shut the door.
I wish I wish
And
you were
don't
close. I would throw something at you. I would throw something at you. I
I'm,
told these women, I
you I'm telling you, you want to see a change immediately. When your husband comes in, I need you to put your kids to bed, whatever that look like, and go in your bedroom and shut that door, turn the TV on as loud as you can turn it on, and take advantage of your man
let me tell you something.
in every way, shape, or
Every way,
form.
every way. I told a client, literally, I said, girl, if you don't go put your red dress on,
Listen.
I said, you won't. I said, go put your red dress on. I said, go light them candles. I said, have
Hmm.
them lights dim. I said, have that music playing. I said, when that man come through them doors, I said, you're too busy looking at things that don't make no
Yes,
sense. I said, it's the enemy distracting you. I said, somebody else
yes.
take your man and do exactly what you don't want to do.
I'm telling you, if my tip is to have sex with your husband, that's because that's how you break down the walls, because the intimacy, how they feel for you starts to flow out. It pours out in that specific moment in time. It gives you the ability for your husband or you to even talk about it. And then afterward, you can tell your husband, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I wasn't doing this more, but I love you. I love us. I love being Mrs. Tameka Lynch Purcell,
Mm-hmm.
and I want this. I want us,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to do everything that I have to do to keep us.
Yeah.
To keep us. You're not going to understand what you're going to get from your man at that point, and be okay if he comes back and say, "Babe, I missed this. I missed us."
Mm-hmm.
Because you ain't the only one. He misses you too. But you don't went so long without doing anything. He doesn't know how to approach you anymore. He doesn't know how to approach you or how to come at you because
Mm-hmm.
he's too afraid if I say one thing, you might get upset.
Yeah.
So this is the tip that I have for you. And then go buy my book.
Yes, go by the book. Look, I want you to tell about the book, and I want us to talk about your honeymoon conference. And it's,
Yes,
yeah, I don't
yes,
want look
yes.
this conversation. I've been trying my best not to keep because I could.
You've been trying to keep calm.
It'd be
Yes,
2 hours later.
yes.
My daughter be not saying, "My look, this is good and rich. This is
Yes,
y'all.
yes.
Some of you are clients of mine. Listen to me. She married, and she telling you to listen. Listen. Keep your man.
Yes.
Keep your man. Keep them, and keep them happy.
Yes, and keep them happy. That's the thing. Keep them happy. And ladies, they don't want much. It's the kids and the other stuff that takes our energy. It's doing all of the other things. So, go back and think about it. You're tired from working and home and the kids and all of that. You're not tired from your husband. You're not tired from him, but you're putting your tiredness on him. You keep them happy is not hard. They just want a little bit of attention. And most of the time, if you do it well the first time, you ain't got to worry about tomorrow or the night before, or the night before that.
Mm-mm.
I'm telling you, that's keeping them happy. But in my book, Forever Honeymoon, that comes out January 7th is our drop date. We will be on at Barnes and Nobles, Amazon, wherever online books are sold. You will be able to go and find this book, Forever Honeymoon. It is going to get you on the right path of saving your marriage and keeping the intimacy. We talk a little bit about intimacy. We talk a little bit about communication. We talk a little bit about finances. All of those things apply when it comes to keeping a sound and healthy relationship. I need you guys to go buy that book. And then January 10th and 11th in Charlotte, North Carolina, we are hosting our first tour Forever Honeymoon. For all of you that are wanting a tour and you're not in North Carolina, don't hesitate to drop a link or a word to this podcast and say, hey, we need her to come here because we are considering going all over. But January 10th and 11th, we will be in Charlotte, North Carolina for our Forever Honeymoon Marriage Conference. We will have a lot of great speakers. If you're interested in buying tickets, you can go on Eventbrite and find us. We are listed top number one as the best selling of the best event. You'll be able to find us for Forever Honeymoon. Ladies, listen, if your marriage has been a concern for you, then we are going, my assistant and I have this comment that we make all the time is that 2025 is tomorrow. So, what are you going to do to prepare yourself for 2025? Listen, this world is crazy. You already have a relationship, a sound relationship with someone. And this is the thing that I want to say this before we get off of this is that that man chose you. He changed your last name. So there was something about who you are that put him in the position to feel like he wanted forever with you. And if you want to have forever in your relationship, you need to buy my book, because we have this statement where we say, when people are like, oh, I just got married a year ago, they were like, oh, you in the honeymoon stage. We are coming up on our 10th year of marriage in 2025 in July. And I have a forever honeymoon with my husband every single day. If I can do it, I know that anybody can do it. For you who are single and you're wanting to be married, you need to buy this book. You need to prepare yourself. You need to be a wife before you get married, because the word says that when a man findeth a wife, he findeth a good thing. So that means when he finds you, you have to be wife material.
Mm-hmm.
And there are things that you have to do to prepare yourself. And that means being financially stable,
Mm-hmm.
being mentally stable, and just being ready to be someone's helpmate. So I'm excited about this book. I'm excited about the conference. It is going to change lives. It changed my life. And if it changed my life, it definitely can change each and every one of yours.
Yes, yes. We thank you so much, Tameka. Look, I'm going to go buy the book. I'm gonna be first as soon as it comes out, as soon as it drops. I'm gonna copy. We have a book club, the Haven Soulful Reads, and so that's going to be one of our books for the year 2025.
That's
We're
awesome.
going to
Thank you
get
so
into the
much.
book. You are welcome. I'm excited about it. I love, love, love relationships because I'm a big advocate for relationships. Marriage does work. We just got to
It
work it.
does.
Oh my gosh. And so those of you who are looking to enhance your marriage, be on the lookout. Go to Eventbrite to get the tickets for the honeymoon conference. I know it's going to be phenomenal. Just this little bit of time that we spent with you, we have been fed, we have been enriched. I'm charged. I'm charged. Let me go out here and because I was sitting back. I'm single and I was sitting back. I said, well, Lord, I don't know, but let me go out here.
I'm, yes,
I'm ready.
yes, yes, yes.
I'm ready.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I'm excited. Don't forget, please go and support Tameka for the drop of her book. The book is coming out January
7th.
7th.
January
January 7th.
7th, the book will drop. Yes,
So mark your
yes.
calendars. Is there a pre-order? Can we pre-order?
We do have some pre-sales. Travis, are you on here? Do you have our pre-sale date?
I think he's gone, but we can get it from you.
Okay.
We
Well,
can
we
get it
do
from
have a pre-sale date of when they will be available. We'll make sure to get that information over to you
you.
for the pre-sale of the book. I'm so excited because I know that it is going to make differences in my women's lives, in our wives' lives. It's
Yes,
going to make a difference. The only thing that you have to do is buy the book, implement the things that are in the book,
yes.
implement it. And it's baby steps. It ain't jump. You ain't got to jump all the way in head first. Put your toe in. Put
Mm-hmm.
the toe in first. But as I mentioned for that tip, if all of you who are married and you want to see some changes, then get out of your comfort zone. And when your man gets home today, you take him in there and do what it is that we were doing before we got married,
Right. Do
before you
it.
tied the knot. And
Mm-hmm.
you will see a lot of changes in your husband just that night.
Mm-hmm.
Just that
Yes.
night.
Yes. Yes. I'm excited. Singles, singles,
So
singles.
thank you so
Remember,
much for having
you're wel-
me.
look, you're welcome. I enjoyed it. Singles, singles. Don't think you're left out. I'm single. I'm getting the book. Look and study the book before you get married. Study it. Know what it's going to take to be a wife after the ceremony, because marriage comes after the I
Yeah.
do's. Once you get in together in that house together, that's when the marriage starts. So this book is going to bless you. I know it's going to bless me. Again, Tameka, thank you
Yes.
for joining us. We have
Thank you.
enjoyed you.
Thank you. I have enjoyed this. Thank you so much.
You.
And you have an amazing rest of your day, and happy Thanksgiving and happy holidays to you.
Thank you for spending time with us on the Haven for Soul Care. I hope today's conversation with Tameka touched your heart and gave you tools to build stronger relationships and a more fulfilling life. Don't forget to pre-order her book, Forever Honeymoon. and explore her upcoming marriage conference in Charlotte, North Carolina. If you found this episode meaningful, please rate, review, and share it with someone who needs a little soul care. Stay tuned for more inspiring episodes, and remember, you're always welcome in the Haven for Soul Care. See you next time.